Hello, and welcome to another Newport News Parks, Recreation, and Tourism Instructional Programs animation tutorial. In the background, you see a cartoon that I've made a while ago, just playing in the background for fun. This tutorial is a little different from the other ones in that this is a more advanced tutorial. You need to have become comfortable with Animator before you try to do this. This is going to be using the points editor, one of the more advanced features in Animator. So make sure you have some background on how the basics of Animator works before you try to attempt this one. And today we're going to make a train. And this is part one. We're going to make the model of the train in part one. In part two, we will make a morph so that the train can change shape. And we'll explain that when we get to it. Part 3, we'll make a figure in order to get the train moving. And part 4, we'll put it all together in a scene. So this is a 4-part series.
Hold on! That's what I said. No.
Alright, so let's get started. Let's click View and then All, as we always do. Add a cylinder with the cylinder tool. Convert to mesh, that's under build, remember, and then use your stretch tool to stretch it into the shape you see here. Now we're going to want to click on left view, just anywhere on left view. We just want to make sure left view is selected. And then if you'll follow the arrow for number 2 and click the button for see-through, and then we're going to activate the points editor, and you'll now see lines and dots in left view. Now we're set to select points, but we want to select sides, so follow the arrow on number 1 for where to click to select sides. And then we're going to, with the select arrow, which should already be selected, click on the center of the circle in left view, and it should turn yellow. If it turns blue, you need to turn back off by clicking on back and then click it again. Now click the inset tool by following that arrow. In front view, you're going to click and drag to the right, and you're going to make a little circle inside. I think that should be to the left, and you're going to make a little circle inside the cylinder. Then you're going to get select points, and you're going to use the mask select tool to draw a square over that inner circle, and you don't want to get anything but the points on the inner circle. In front view, use the move tool to drag those points forward a bit with the move. I already said move tool, sorry. And then we're going to click on the top arrow to leave the points editor. It looks like the select arrow, but it's not, and return to normal. With the cylinder tool, add a cylinder in front view, just like it is here, but add it in a blank spot. Convert it to mesh. Use the stretch tool to stretch it into place, and then use the move tool to move it to where you see it here. Then put a cube in with the cube tool. Click Build, Convert to Mesh, and use the Move tool to move the cube to a blank area in all the views, which is really front, top, and left. You don't have to worry about perspective. Click on Front View to select it, and click the See-Through button. Activate the Points Editor, and use your Mask Select tool, and select just the top right corner of the cube in front view. Your mask select tool, you draw, by holding the mouse button, you draw a square over the point. And actually there's more than one point there, which is why we're using the mask select tool. And now we need the move tool, and we're going to move that top right point down into line to make a triangle as it appears here. You're just going to move it down till you've got a triangle with a straight line there. This is going to be our cow swoop, or cow catcher, sometimes they call them. Click the arrow to leave the points editor. That's a very top arrow. Click the select arrow, and then select that triangle we just made. Use your move tool to move it into place. You'll need to check it on all views to make sure it's in the right place. Now we're going to add a cylinder, so you need your Add Cylinder tool. Add it in top view, and it's going to be straight up and down. Convert it to mesh, and then get your stretch tool, and in top view you're going to squish it down so it's just a little flat thing. Almost looks like a line now in top view. Then in front view we want to make it a nice large round circle. Now use your move tool to position it. It's going to be a wheel. You'll need to position it in front and left views to get it right. Copy and paste, that's under edit, and then move it until you have move tool, of course. You have 3 wheels on each side. Use the left view to change from one side to the other. Now we need the rectangle tool to add it, or the cube tool technically. Add a cube, but make it more rectangular in front view, straight up and down. Click Build, Convert to Mesh. Activate the points editor once again, and with the select arrow, click Top View, and just anywhere in Top View, and the see-through button. Now we're going to use a tool called the Knife tool. Don't tell Mom I let you play with knives. Click on the Knife tool, and in front view, you're going to click just before the line of the rectangle. Hold the button down, drag past both lines. You'll see a red line, then let go, and that'll cut a new piece in. Now we'll use our select arrow, and we'll click that top right corner in front view. Now we're not using the mass select tool here because we only want to move 1 point. There's 2 points on that corner, but we only want to move one of them. And then get our move tool, and in top view we're going to use that move tool, and we're going to go diagonally down to the right as you see in the picture, and we're going to move that point down. We're starting on making the train smokestack. Now we need to select the left top point with the select arrow. We do that in front view. Move it in top view with the move tool, and we're going to go the opposite direction to the left diagonally down. Try to make it equal distance from the one you did on the right. And then in left view, we're going to select the point, so you need select arrow again, on the upper right. In top view, we're going to move that point with the move tool diagonally up. Again, try to make it equal distance with what you did on the bottom. We want them all to be symmetrical. Then in left view, select the point, so select arrow, near the middle right. You'll see where that is in the picture. It's pointing to it. That's actually the far point. We just can't tell that from that picture. That's the best place to select it. And now it's time to move it with the move tool. So we go to top view again, and we're going to move it diagonally to the left. So if you did it right, you should have a nice square with another square inside it in top view. In left view, it should look like a smokestack for a train. So now it's time to turn off the points editor. Click that very top arrow. Use your select arrow and select the object, the smokestack, and use your move tool to move it into place. Let it sink into the cylinder of the body some. Move it in multiple views to get it in the right place. Now we need to add a cylinder, so add cylinder tool in top view, straight up and down. Add it in a blank area. Click Build, Convert to Mesh. Use the stretch tool and shrink it into a small rod as you see here. It's going to be a wheel axle. Use the move tool to move it into place. Then copy and paste under edit 2 times until you have 3 of them. And move them into place with each of the 3 wheels. Now we need to add a cube, so get your Add Cube tool. Make the cube in a blank area, convert it to mesh, and then use the stretch tool to stretch it into the shape you see here. Look at the multiple views for the shape. Now it's time to open the points editor again, so click on the 3 dots for the points editor. Click that knife tool and use it to cut lines straight down the cube in front view. Remember to start above the cube and go down past the cube to get the line all the way through. You got 2 of them to put in there. Now still with the knife tool, we're going to go horizontally, same type of thing. Start before the cube, go all the way through all the lines past the cube and let go. If you do it right, the line should go all the way through. You have 2 of those to make. Make sure that you put them in the position they are in the picture here. It's working in front view. Now we need to change to select sides. Use your select arrow and click the square in the middle of the cube in front view. It should turn yellow. If it turns blue, then you need to click the word back to turn off back view, and clicking it will then cause it to turn yellow. When you're done, click back on. Now, to get rid of this, which is what we want to do, we're going to press delete on your keyboard. If you use DEL, that may be under a number pad. If number lock is on, you got to turn number lock off to use DEL. Then click it again and hit delete again. Now we're going to turn off the points editor with the top arrow at the very top. Now we need the select arrow to select the cube, and we're going to use the move tool to move it over in left view. So we're moving it farther away from the train. We need space to work on that front part. Now we are going to again use that knife. So we need to turn the points editor back on, and we're going to use the knife to cut 2 vertical lines in left view. Notice those lines only go through the lines that are already there. They don't go through the outer limits of the cube. Now select sides, click the select sides button, and again we're going to click that box in the middle and hit delete. Again, if it turns blue instead of yellow, click the word back up above the select tool to turn off the back, and do it again, and then turn it back on after you do it. Alright, now turn off the points editor by clicking the arrow at the very top. Select the cube, and then we're going to use the move tool to move it into position. You'll need to move it in both left and top views. Get it so it looks like it does in the picture here. Now we're going to use the mask select tool. We're going to draw a little square over the axle of the wheel in front view. Just the axle part. That will select the axle and the wheel by doing that. Click build and group, and then edit copy, edit paste. And we're going to use our move tool to move our copy over. Move it to a blank place first to work on it. Use your stretch tool and shrink it. Make it smaller but not shorter. So the axle should still be the same length. Copy and paste it. That's edit, copy, edit, paste. And then move the copy over, and you want to get both wheels in position. Notice in top view all the axles should line up. In front view the back wheels are much smaller, and they should line up with the ground level of the large wheels. Now we're going to return to solids. You need to do this for all views. So click in somewhere in front view, click the solids button as indicated there. Click somewhere in top view, click solids. Click somewhere in left view, click solids. And we'll have a nice solid gray, kind of drabby looking train because it's just gray, but we're going to fix that. It's time to add color. And so click to activate the materials editor. Click new on the materials editor, choose your color shade and fade it lighter or darker, and then click OK. Use the select arrow to select parts of the train to apply it, and then repeat those steps till everything's colored the color you want. And now we're going to make a picture out of our train so we can share it. So click view and then click perspective. And that's going to give us the view that we will want to use to make the picture. Now you could also use the eyeball tool and the stretch tool to zoom in if you wanted the picture to be closer or larger. Now click render image. On the box that comes up, click the ... box, and you're going to choose a color for your background. Then you're going to click OK, and then click OK. You won't see that color yet, but you will when the render is complete. Now we need to click Save on the side panel. Click the dot for JPG, put 100 for quality, and then click the box with a ... in it. That will open up your file system. Find where you want it on your computer, give it a name, and click Save. Now click OK on that box, and then on the side panel click Close, and then let's go ahead and click File, Save As, and find a location for the file on your computer and give it a name. This is for the Animator file now that we're saving, so we have our work. Alright, and that concludes this animation tutorial. When life returns to normal, Be sure to check out the Newport News Park's Recreation Tourism Instructional programs, and specifically the 3D computer animation programs. Until then, stay well, stay healthy, and goodbye.